行ってきます。
いってらっしゃい。
5, we'll walk up to stage 9. There's left there. We'll stay there for 3. We're not going to place the stage. She stays there for 3. They're going to get to the top about midnight. It's like come about 3 o'clock. And he takes the bus back for the next day. And it's starting leasing from Commuting.
That's why it's not showing availability.
We are going to stock exchange today. So, they have an English tour in the Tokyo Stock Exchange, and we will join the group which come from Obiri University. Obiri is a private university in Tokyo. So, the students are all foreigners and exchange students in Obiri University. We'll join another group. Yeah. Okay, andこの間買ったんですか？日本で買ったんですか？いいカメラですね。私も欲しいです。ホテルさん。カジェットさん。はい。サンディステートさん。はい。リンさん。はい。
Hi, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and I like grapes.
And over there in front of you are used for the telephone seats and the computer for the regular members. Now we have the 114 regular members, including the 22 foreign regular members like Several Brothers, Chester Freeman, Railroad, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and so on. The people in white shirts working on the floor are all employees of the regular members. And please take a look at the info of you. Maybe you can see the people on the head, can you? They are the telephonists of the regular members. They receive orders from the head office directly and have communication with the first line of their own and signals of video and train back conveying orders to the territory members inside the trading post counter. The people in brown jacket it's very hot, so they take off the jackets. But the people writing on the paper inside the counter are called Satori members. They are like the specialists in New York, and the jobbers in London. The next ones are so very different from the specialists and the jobbers. Don't use the flashlight. And Satori member belonging to the Tokyo Exchange Security Firms, non-regular members and non-members of the Stock Exchange. They are brokers for brokers, so special members we call. And there are orders and wrinkles, sitting the bank staff, if the orders can be sent, they execute orders on their order sheet, based on time and the price that order. And after the execution, the members of the Tokyo Stock Exchange in the middle of the trading post input contracted prices. The prices are indicated on the display board in front of you. Did you look at that?
It goes off to work.
One American worker.
Only one. Only non-Japanese on the whole stock exchange. Wonder what it takes to get up there, eh? Go ahead, shove your way through like an American. Turn around, I want to get a shiny face.
That alien. He's only got direct this side.
He's basically
pushing.
get through. He said, get out of here, you dumb guy, Gene. You bucket of guy, Gene. Get out of my way.
All males.
I want you to read this paper before you come to speak. And during my talk, I'll kind of touch on how this speech ties in with everything else. So it's a pretty good paper because most of you are here to learn about Japanese business. It's a very useful paper to read if that's the case because he gives a lot of background information on how Japan has achieved the success they have so far. So it's a good paper. I read it twice, so you shouldn't complain. Do we have any extra papers out there? Dan?
Yeah, bunch of them, Jack.
Oh, you got one over here.
Okay, I think we're all here. Right?
No.
That's him in here.
There's two downstairs, I think.
All right. I'm going to start. I'm going to go on and start. We've had one evaluation so far, and so we kind of know what your opinions are of many things about the program. And so I'd just like to clarify a few things and kind of tie it all together. First of all, I must qualify Yamada-san and myself and the program in the sense that you are 32 very different individuals and you're here for very different reasons. And so as in statistics, we're going to try to satisfy as many people as we can. There are some people who are not going to be happy with anything. And I'm sorry, we could only do so much, but I want to thank most of you for being as understanding as you have been, because you definitely have some very legitimate complaints about some of the things in the program. But anyway, there is a coherence to the whole thing. It may not seem that way to you now, but we arrange different visits and different types of visits for very specific reasons. In order to satisfy the majority of the people, like for example, some people last year like presentations more like Roger Comerford's presentation at Dentsu, where he speaks to you, while other people like factory visits, to actually be in the facilities and see the little guys screwing in the screw, to kind of get a sense of the smell of the place. The welding, and I mean that also brings it home. So we try to do both. We try to do as much as we can. We try to go to organizations such as JETRO. It's a very important organization here in Japan. we try to have professors here to speak to you about different things, and so let me just go briefly just to explain to you how everything ties together. When Professor Yamakage came, the first professor from Tokyo University, that has propelled Japan to where it is today. I mean, if it weren't for these goals, I don't think any of us would be here. Japan wouldn't be one of the most important economic entities in the world today, and we wouldn't be studying about Japanese business. And so these two goals are very important. We must study their history to understand why they have done the things that they have done, and maybe give us an insight on where they are going in the future, during our careers, during the careers of most of us in here. So it's very important, these 2 points that he brought up about his Japanese national goals. And so keeping in mind that this is their goal, and the fact that this is basically a volcanic island with no natural resources to speak of, this is just a very harsh country. And, as far as the natural resources, there is nothing to speak of. And so in order to achieve their two goals, what is really needed is there must be very harmonious relationship between labor and management. In order to achieve their only possibility of modernization and equal status, export. This is the key to the whole Japanese formula. With no natural resources, they must act as a processor. They must ensure there's good relationship between these two elements and bring in resources from foreign countries, process it and export it. That's where Japan's economic success lies. Keep in mind that it's changing because they're having to restructure their economy now because this formula is no longer valid for the international situation today. So they are changing their economy now, but this is what has led to their success. And in studying how they could maintain good relationship between labor and management, Jennifer May came in and told us about Japan and how it is a high concept. How Japan is a high context country. She told us about the ba, ma, wa, and how that relates to how they do business. In her talk, she lays the groundwork on how to understand this relationship there. She gave us a lot of real interesting examples to help us understand the differences between a high context country such as Japan and a low context country such as the United States or Canada, Australia. So Jennifer May came in, her piece of the puzzle was to kind of lay the groundwork for us to understand how they manage this relationship here. Professor Ito came in and in a more academic sense explained to us the system they have here, the organizational transaction. The organizational transaction system. He's written a book on this. And so this helps explain how they have been able to achieve the harmony, the harmony that Jennifer told us about. How they achieve this harmony between the labor and the management is through this organizational transaction. Okay. Okay, so that's where Professor Ito fits into the puzzle. was here to help us understand the different business systems. Organizational transaction system is very different from the system that we're used to. This is multiple face-to-face and the personal relationship type of system, as opposed to the system that we're all used to. And so, if you've seen just the speakers that we've had so far, they've all helped to kind of explain parts of the puzzle. Professor Shimada from Keio University next week is going to be talking about his theory of industrial culture. You see how many aspects of Japanese society revolves around the economy. Everybody talks about business. Businessmen stay out late. I mean, for some businessmen, their work is more important than their family. And so he's got a theory which is which he explains in his paper. So that's why I want you to read his paper before his speech on Tuesday. But anyway, Professor Shimada is also going to help explain part of the puzzle, a more general, more overall view of this. You will see, reading his paper, you will see elements of this and this in helping to understand the industrial society. And as far as the company visits and the other field visits we've been on, we have tried to incorporate a wide variety of companies and organizations. Okay, seeing how important export was to their success, obviously JETRO is a very important organization in Japan. Because their original function was to help promote export. They gathered the foreign market information for Japanese companies wishing to export to other parts of the world. So this is a very important economic organization here in Japan. And it's very interesting that Mr. Kusajima, in his speech, and this is just by chance and just randomly, it kind of helps you see how important some of these organizations we're visiting. These are the organizations that he mentioned that we have visited or we are going to visit. During the course of this talk, and in the answering and questioning session, he mentioned, I took note, he mentioned all of these companies, briefly or in detail with examples. And these are the companies and the organizations that we'll be visiting or we have visited here so far in our program. So that kind of allows you to see that we have really made an effort to try to incorporate a wide variety of organizations for our visits. I mean, I didn't tell them to mention these. Just during the course of talking about the Japanese economy, he mentioned these organizations. So I just want you to see that we tried to satisfy the interests of every single person in this room. There's like in Nissan, it was a company visit. Some people enjoyed it, some people didn't. The production line that we visited is one of the most automated car production lines in the world. So it gives you a real good chance to see where industry is going in the future. It's a window to the future. Japan Economic Journal, we got to see how the Wall Street Journal of Japan works. We got to see how they print up where they gather their information. Nomura, the largest security company in the world. Sony, he was talking about Sony being an American corporation rather than a Japanese. Big electronics time. American Chamber of Commerce, the most active foreign chamber of commerce here in Japan. Ministry of International Trade and Industry. very important ministry within the Japanese government. It is very influential in economic and business matters. And of course, the LDP is the ruling political party of Japan. They have been in power since the end of World War II. So I hope that you will continue to give us comments and suggestions and any other ideas you might have. I just want to help explain the program and what we try to do with the program. And hopefully you can see that there is an overall design to it. There's an overall pattern to it. Why we visited certain companies and certain companies we went to the factory, where other companies we went to their office to listen to them speak. So I just thought this might help clarify a few things and just kind of give you a clue on like what the overall picture is. I know during the course of the program it's very difficult until the conclusion. You're going to wonder, now, why did we do that? Or, that wasn't very helpful. But there's a whole pattern to it. There's a reason why we did. There's a reason why we've done and why we're going to do everything we're going to do with this program. So, does anyone have any questions? I've heard so many yawns.
Maybe you could, at the beginning, explain a little bit of an overview of the whole time, thing, what you're going to try to accomplish. And then even before the trip, if you could tell us a little bit, too, about the point of the trip.
Yes.
So we know what to expect.
Yes, exactly. I think you're right, Todd. I mean, I should have done this earlier. I just,
What, Jack?
Charles, no, but seriously, did you find this helpful?
That was helpful.
Yeah.
But it would have been more helpful had it been presented beforehand.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To give you an idea or flavor for what's in store.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't want to ruin the story for you. I didn't want to say that at least in the duration of, in the 4 weeks' time, we can't hope to show you everything there is to know about this country. I mean, I can only hope that you return with the overall picture and maybe some details with some of the lecturers and visits and maybe pursue it further. But I mean, that's definitely one of our goals here is to try to give you a balanced picture of Japan, and just a overall picture of Japan. I mean, we can't possibly teach you anything there is to know about Japan in the time that we spend here. So I hope you'll be understanding. Some of the program is parts of the program is limited because of that. We're limited by time to be able just to touch the surface of it, and maybe give you some insight that you could follow up and after you return.
California conversation.
What I'm doing right now, when we're visiting the state trade offices, the 13th, none of the states had an office big enough to take us all at once. And so we want you to split yourself up to 3 different groups.
Alaska has one that's large enough.
Well, you could
Wave hi, Bob.
Hi. This is it. This is the place to be. You know the Morning Glory Festival?
It's the best. I love
Morning Glory. Let me show you.
No.
No? Oh well. Flowers.
Buddy. Let's say hi, Ian.
Good eye.